Good evening, folks, and welcome to another Irish Whisky review with me, Marty McCauley. Eagle eyed of you, you're going to spot this isn't an Irish whisky. I wanted to do more whiskies. No, we don't want to just do Irish whiskies, that'll be the main focus, but we want to do other whisky areas, whisky regions, etc. etc. And I wanted to start this off with something a little bit special, and I picked this. Now, you can probably, if you know anything, bit of general knowledge, you'll know that this is Dylan Thomas. Now, Dylan Thomas was a poet, Welsh poet, from the beautiful, and I mean truly beautiful, village of Larne, way down in South Wales. I got there in February. I was in Liverpool and I hired a car, jumped in the car, drove all the way down, 4 hour drive, down to Larne, and got to stay in Brown's Hotel. Now, Brown's Hotel is in the village centre, and it was the hotel in which Dylan Thomas used to drink. And he liked to drink, folks. This is not a secret. Unfortunately, it didn't end well for him. But he used to give out his phone number as the bar in Brown's Hotel. So, there's another link. So this wonderful chap wrote my favourite poem, Fernhill. I absolutely adore his work. I have a first edition of his anthology of poetry, collected poems, and I do read it. I dip into it every so often. So I wanted to pick this because I thought it was a little bit special for my first non-Irish whisky review. It is part of a series of Welsh icons, number 3 of 50. So the owners of Penderyn have decided to do icons of Wales, and they thought the third one would be Dylan Thomas, and I'm ever so glad they did. But the other connection between Dylan Thomas and Penderyn, the hotel is owned by the same people who own the Penderyn distillery. So it's a fabulous place. I utterly loved it. It sits in the river estuary. You can see Dylan Thomas's boathouse. You can see the little cabin that he used to write in that's been kept exactly the way it was. I got to sit where these iconic photos were taken. You get to sit in the chairs, they're just there. I mean, it's not sealed off in any way. I found myself in the bar with this lovely little girl called Fionn, who we were chatting. She had this very sort of clear English accent. And Dylan Thomas, when he made his radio broadcasts in way back for the BBC, he had a very clear English accent, and lots of people thought South Wales, he would have spoke Welsh. He, thought he would have spoke Welsh with a very heavy Welsh accent. But I found myself talking to people in Larne, and really they have this sort of odd accent that is very much very English sounding accent, which I find rather strange, because 5 miles up the road people are naturally speaking Welsh. But it's just beautiful. The church that he's buried at, these magnificent trees and beautiful roots in the trees coming up through the ground, and there's a wooden bust to him and stuff, and it really is absolutely fantastic. So pretty. So they've made this, as I say, icon of Wales, number 3. Now, he wrote under Milkwood. There's a reason it's called Sherrywood. Okay, not Milkwood. Milkwood is actually a latex tree, a rubber tree. Don't think that would taste that good being aged in that. So, blah blah blah. Welsh Gold. Whisky, the Welsh Gold. This golden whisky is a rare and precious Celtic jewellery worn. Right, okay. Down. So, what is this? It's non-age statement. This new Penderyn Sherrywood edition has been aged in Oloroso sherry casks and combined with whiskey matured in American bourbon barrels to bring out a rich, nutty flavour. So it says to be drinking by itself, etc. Tells you a little bit about Dylan Thomas's life, and in it you get a little book, a little booklet. Take that down. A little booklet with some quotes from some of his works. So there's a little bit. Fernhill. Oh, as I was young and easy in the mercy of his means, time held me green and dying, though I sang in my chains like the sea. The last 3 lines of Fernhill. This is a nice little thing. I like all this kind of stuff, if I'm honest. So we'll pour a little half of this. We'll give it a little review. As I say, I wanted to do something a little bit different, a little bit not your typical go for a big scotch or something, you know. So we'll let it decant a little bit. Colour wise, it's very light in colour. No, if you ever get a chance, do go down. It's well worth making the trip. I drove all up the sea coast of Wales, and it was fabulous. On the nose, a bit saccharine sweet, a bit overly sweet. It has it's a sort of sucrose white sugar sweetness that is a little bit dominating. In it, there's some very fresh fruit, very fresh gooseberry type fruit. Not bitter, but it's that very sweet grape, green grape. Little bit of walnut coming through there, and a bit of nut probably coming from the sherry cask. No real bourbon vanilla, but probably the sweetness from the bourbon and the sherry it's a little bit over the top. Yeah, nose is a little bit off. It's a little bit too sweet, if I'm honest. On the tongue, it works better. It's sweet, but it's got a nice balanced sweetness. Very fresh, very fresh. This isn't an old whiskey. It hasn't much age to it, but it's very sweet, very approachable. Green apples, green grape, vanilla started to come through from the bourbon cask. Nice balance of sweetness. Where it was overly sweet on the nose, it's mellowed. It's become a bit more honeyed. There's vanilla there, there's cream, still a little bit of nuttiness. Coming through on the follow through on the finish, you have some toffee, again some cream. Very little of the fresh fruit kind of disappears and it becomes a little bit more aged fruit. Sultana, raisin, but there's still a little freshness there. But it's more aged. Yeah, much better. There's a lot of fresh spice there, like an allspice coming through. Not much, but it's definitely there. You have again the cream, the vanilla coming through in the bottom. The finish lasts a decent length for a very young whiskey. It's quite good actually. It's quite good. The nose, don't be put off by the nose. The nose has a little bit too sharp, too sweet, but when you actually take it in, it's quite balanced. It's actually very nice. Again, the fruity, fresh fruit. Yeah. Now I'm just looking at this little book, and how can you not like this? Okay, though lovers be lost, love shall not, and death shall have no dominion. From his poem, and death shall have no dominion. I love it. Absolutely love it. I was talking to a girl recently, and I told her about poems a long time ago. She never got poetry, and then she was reading some song lyrics, and she said, "I actually get poetry now. I understand what you mean, and it is fabulous, fabulous." And this man, unfortunately, he died in New York. He used to make lots of money touring New York, giving readings. He did like whiskey. However, he liked it a bit too much, and he essentially drank himself to death. So, don't be doing that, kids. On a cheery note. I don't want to finish on that. I want to finish on something good. Honestly, get a chance, go down to Wales, go and visit Larne, stay at Brown's Hotel, which they've done a really nice job of. They've kept the bar the same upstairs. They've changed it into accommodation. Quite smallish rooms, but you know, I remember taking guests to hotels when tourism tour directing was actually a thing. That's what I do for a living. I take guided tours, and a lot of the time you have this balance between charm and functionality. You go and stay in these beautiful old Victorian hotels, set in the most beautiful, spectacular, mature grounds. But the rooms were built in Victorian. The Wi-Fi is not fantastic. The central heating's a bit ropey sometimes, and so on. But you've got bags of charm. Then you go to some of the new hotels in the city. Wi-Fi slick, everything's slick. You know, everything works, but a little bit soulless. So you've got this nice balance. When you go and stay, and do go and stay in Brown's Hotel, you get the charm, and it really is just a fabulous place. Beautiful. There's a few pubs, really, really nice walks, old castle, that kind of thing. It's wonderful, wonderful place. Have to give this a mark. I would give it 7 out of 10, but I'll give it an extra half mark because they give me this. So we'll give it 7.5 out of 10. Again, it's a little bit disjointed on the nose, but don't let that put you off. And on the tongue, on the finish, it's well worth taking, well worth having a go. If you love Dylan Thomas, then why not have it? Why not have it? So that's all from me from this whiskey review, my first non-Irish. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to the channel. Please tell your friends, like and comment. If you have any comments, please share them with me. Share the review about. Okay, so from me down in the Glens of Antrim, take care and stay safe, folks. Bye bye.